What up, what up, what up? Traders, what's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. Hope you guys are doing good, feeling well. Right now, I'm logged into my student account here at MMU, and I was watching an old archive of the Mighty, dialing it in with some high accuracy trading, up 7K on a couple of different stocks. And man, oh man, were things a little hotter and smoother. You know, you got ticker symbol GV, ticker symbol OBLG. And if we're to come back throughout the video, there were some other ticker symbols as well. But man, you know, TNON, another one there. PLCE and a few others. Boy, oh boy, the landscape definitely looks a little different, right? And by the way, you know, I might have to make an inside look at MMU, a new video, because the Mighty had a really nice one, but since the Mighty's channel got, you know, taken down, maybe I might need to post one just so people know what it looks like on the inside, right? But anyhows, moving on here with the day, So let's talk about THAR and this crazy move that came earlier in the day, and also later in the day here too, for those people who were sticking around till after 4 p.m. because this thing ended up moving again. So our final P&L, only $100, which, you know, not great, but I will say much better trading all around. If we're to look at the archive, we got off to a bit of a slower start. We ended up going a little red. Man, I tell you, there just wasn't a lot early. Similar to yesterday, right? It took some time for us to start seeing any sort of actual good momentum. The best that we had was SISI, which was, you know, very sideways, up and down, and you know, you have to be very careful to not get caught on those red candles, right? So SISI, initially we're down $150, $140, nothing crazy, keeping it tight and trying to wait for the hotter and better momentum. And so THAR, pre-market highs around 180, and this thing's pushing up at this time. We're pulling it up. It's up about 56% with 44 million shares of volume. Let's see here. We're going to do some skipping through. So initially around $2 here as we start to get closer. I'm going to try to put out a little bit more size to capture some opportunities, and I'm going to get wrecked here pretty quickly, right? So at this time, I'm down just $40 in the stock, and I'm looking to anticipate the breakout over 2 as the volume got a little active here. But, you know, in hindsight, it might have been better to just wait for that bigger pullback, get that bit of a reset before the move. Because, you know, you got to always ask yourself the question, right? Like, how much will these stocks go? And if they're not going to go right away, all the way, then it just doesn't make sense, right? We had a high right there of 97. It's going to dip down, and I'm going to try to dip here for the retest of 2. It's what's going to happen to me a couple times. So I'm in, I'm back out. Getting blazed there against the spreads as well. In at 91, out at, you know, 88, right? Taking a 3-cent loss. It adds up pretty quickly. In at 92, out at 88, 86 even. And we tried to get back in as quickly as we could, a little lower into that push. We basically got the same fill, so I was better off just holding the position in the first place, right? So the fills can be tough. This right here basically pushed us to being down 450. So in just a couple trades there, you know, it's just that easy, right? So this stock, there were only a few areas where hyper scalping it made sense, right? So we took losses, and there's only a few areas where it made sense to hyper scalp. Other than that, it really came down to trying to play the range. You know, areas like this, I got to do a better job, right? Look at this. So we ended up having the high of 97, and the stock is pulling back. Let me go back some more. right here, I'm just way too early. And I think, let's see, stock is coming down. We got a red candle. So there are two levels here, right? I didn't have the trend line drawn, but the pre-market highs are at 82 and high of days at 97, pre-market highs are at 82, and VWAP is at 70. And this was a pretty significant move, right? This is something to always consider when looking at the pullback. We went up from about 440. If I'm to bring up my drawing tool here and like actually like, you know, create some artificial trend lines, which I didn't have at the time. So again, pre-market highs at 82, highs are at 97. And then the move started at like what, 145, 144, somewhere down there. It's possible we can see a big pullback. And I was buying here looking for the pre-market highs after the drop down to 77, 78. Too early. And I got to continue to work on being better with the starter size because this is a trade, even if I'm in right here, and this is smaller, this is small size, all things considered, right? But for me, I got to like program my mind a little bit more in terms of just what size means, because I'm in and out of trader rehab. Trying to start positions with smaller size and then add to it. I think I need more of like a base format in terms of what size should mean, whether I'm in a trader rehab or out of a trader rehab. That way I can always treat the trades the exact same, right? Because right here we're in 1,200 shares, but you want to be a little bit more decisive of the plan because I'm looking for a quicker bounce, but if we're not going to see that, it needs to be break or bail and then waiting again for our next entry. If we're looking for the 5-minute pullback, the 5-minute setup here, we want to be in with smaller size and just watching and waiting for the stock to actually base out. And so that would mean just a couple hundred shares here, less than this, and waiting patiently, right? So in a situation like this where we start to pull back some more, it's like instead of chopping around with trades, we can then just keep adding and adding and adding and put ourselves in a much better situation to capture this trade off the VWAP pullback and ride the wave back up. Just imagine having, 5,000 shares, 4,000 shares, 3,000 shares down there, 72, 73, 74, 75. And you're in basically close to the bottom of this wick. VWAP at the time was at 170. And then you're riding the wave back up, already up 10, 12 cents right here in the move. And even more as we're pushing 95. And I can scale out some right here, 94, 95, and then see what happens with the rest. Or even if I want to say, hey, you know what? Let's take all. Instead, it's a sloppy trade coming down, missing the move, and basically having no choice but to watch from the sideline as this thing curled up nicely. And a lot of this also has to do with showing. I think for me, there's a huge emphasis on also showing up early, seeing the move early, and being able to understand the price action. Because if it's a stock where we can't scalp at all and we got to play the range, you got to be able to understand that and then execute accordingly, right? So pretty poor right there. Finally, we're going to turn things around here, I think, for break of, let's see, was it break of 2? Let's see, it came down a little bit more. I think we started holding 80s here a little bit. Trades like this where I'm in with 80 shares at 81, but not getting to add, not being fast enough and quick enough to buy more size, right? So this position is being used correctly, but the execution can be better in terms of adding to the position. And I think it's a good move, right? Because a lot of the times the bottom is very difficult to determine. But once I'm in there and green is just ripping on the tape, got to add to these positions, right? And I'm pretty sure here we're going to see that I'm going to get a chance to add after I got in. So we might have to fast forward a little more here. We had a low of 85. We're in 87. We sold a little bit. Okay, here we go. It's going to come down. So we sold that position there. In at 87, out at 93. Okay, cool. And then now it's going to come down. There's a lot of red hitting the tape. There's a lot of red hitting the tape. I take the starter there, 82. But the moment it starts to get flooded, man, I got to jump in right here. 85 is a little higher. 86, got to jump in with that size. Got to jump in with that size. Right here is the key, right? If I'm jumping in here aggressively with that size, now I can give it a chance. What is that? Like a what was the low right there? 82. I'd have like a 3-4 cent stop at most with a chance for this thing to go back up to $2. Risking 3 to 4 cents for a move, even if you say, hey, it might not go all the way to 2. Let's say 195, 194, 193. There's still a good 8 cents, 9 cents of profits for a potential, 3-4 cents of risk. That's the key right there. That's the key. Yeah, so these small areas like that, right, make such a massive difference. Let's skip ahead 30 seconds here. Boom, 91. It's not a bad trade. There's 95. There's 10 cents. Boom. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. So got to execute. And even, again, for the longer hold time, I mean, it even goes all the way through $2 here, right? So got to execute a little bit better in those key areas. And then the next thing is we had support here early. And this is why I should have done better too in this pullback, right? This right here is a consolidation between 94 and 80. We got to 207 here, but it really and truly was a false breakout into this new range. So really and truly, we're still in our current range. So when the stock pulls back here, it's like we're still somewhat holding towards this level here, the pre-market high. So got to be confident to be in there at that 85 level that we just saw with a tight stop to hold and watch for the retest. I think like selling right here, 94, 95, 93, $2. But that's the key with the position being a little bit bigger as well, is that even if you're scaling out, you still have 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares holding into a move like this to be able to capture the trade properly, right? Boom, 207, even much more than we would have thought there in terms of the speed, right? So, got to be a little bit better in that aspect. We took a scalp trade here, but this trade isn't a bad trade, but it's a trade that we should be taking if we wanted to add to this position, right? We jumped in at 90. Let's see, we jumped in at 90. We're going to sell it here, 94, 95, right into that initial resistance. We take 96 again, and we're selling at over 204, like 203 area here, 204. It's a good trade, but we should have still had the trade from 85 to put ourselves in more of the driver's seat, more control, because what if we got up there to 93 and came right back down? Those two trades there wouldn't even exist, right? But what we would have had is the chance to really dictate what we wanted to do. Hey, scale out, sell all, hold. So the execution, I'm still having issues in some key areas. Stock goes up. We then start to create a new consolidation here. Now we got lows at 203, highs of 220. And it becomes like the same thing again, right? Are we going to be able to hold up and continue? Or will this thing, reject and sell off? Are we going to reject here, big red candle, and sell off, right, for the rest of the day? This stock is actually still moving right now in after hours here. I probably could even trade it. I could trade it if I want to. Here's a look at the level 2. It's now at 495. It is moving up. It's 4:52 p.m. market time. So anyhows, it then gets into this new range, and we're telling ourselves, hey, if this thing isn't able to hold up 95, which was our previous resistance, we're not looking to get involved But if it is able to hold up that level, yeah, it kind of came slightly below if we're to like redraw this level here. If it does come back above, then we're interested here. And so I started watching at it, you know, over 2. And this is another area where I think I could have took more size. I was initially a little flippy floppy, only had 600 shares, and then eventually scaled out. Let's see, at 06, 07. Definitely could have took more size and also hold longer in this trade. We tried to add back with a scalp. We didn't quite have the confidence to hold that trade there, which wasn't good. And this was for the first 1 minute candle to pull back. We could have done much better with this position here. It's a great buy, but we just didn't have the confidence to hold. And that's in part because I know I should be in at like 98, $2 just holding from there. You know, so we got back out scratch and kind of missed out on the opportunity on that trade there. Let's see. It was a missed opportunity here as well. How many times did I say that here so far? It's retesting the support. And I initially bought, I think, 8,000 shares here. This was the position. This was a great, like a great entry that I just needed to be patient with. Did I take the 8,000 shares here, or was it somewhere else? I think it was here. So we're in. Did I add? Hold up. We got to go back. Let's go back some more. 202. There's 8. We took some. I thought I had more size. So where did I have that size? I remember I had like an 8,000 share position somewhere. Maybe it was on the other candle over here. This is a much better trade. Like we scaled out properly, held it much longer, gave it the time, and also good follow through here. You know, we're still holding some at 202. This trade here. Oh my God, man. This trade here was another good attempt that I sold too soon. I expected it to be quick, like quick. So we had a 20 and I take 14 here, watching for the freaking bounce back up, and like a little girl. Hopefully nobody's offended by how I'm talking here. Like a little baby. Like a little, you know what? I'm not using the real word I'm supposed to use, keeping it PG. I'm in 4K size, 15. And I sold the trade. It didn't even break down a penny. Why did I sell that trade? Why? It was a great add back to try and capture the breakout through 20, and freaking boom. That was a trade right there. That was the trade of the day. In fact, we broke above the resistance. We broke below the resistance. We broke back above. We retested it. And I'm in here with 4,000 shares. Could have took more size. But nevertheless, the add back here at 15 that we sold. Man, that's tough, man. The volume is heightened right here, right? And so I'm expecting like something quick. And it's like stuffed at 15. So I'm like, okay, I'm back out. But maybe I should have also looked to get back in again over 15. But this is the trade here, man. 47. Imagine being at $2 or $2.15 and you're selling at 47. What more do you need? Right here, you could just shut down your computer and say, you know what? I don't even care if this thing goes up to 4. Or not 4, 3. If you want to say, hey, it's been a tough day, I'm just going to take the victory, walk away. However, we do like to stick around if the stock is going to prove some bullishness and keep going. Man, to not capture that full amount there, it's just tough, man. If we skip ahead a little bit, let's see. I think we got up there to like 700. I mean, even after that missed opportunity, right? We had some chop. I think it was like somewhere over here. We had some good trades. You know, dip down at 20. So we started holding above 20, and then we had a dip to 20. It curled back up. So remember, we had the range of 2 by 220. It then ripped to 250, 260, and now we had a range of 250 by 220. Trading is so simple and easy, right? But then we can make it complicated by not staying disciplined throughout the move. And so, you know, man, if you work the range efficiently and with discipline, you will make money. We're trading like not so great here, and we've went from red 400, 500 to green 500, and it's not close to being great trading. We still have work to do here to be better for tomorrow. 255 highs. I don't know if I'd say I overtraded. I mean, I started getting really, really aggressive in terms of like just the way I was talking, how I was feeling about the stock, how it was moving. I thought it might have went to $3.50 and $4 because short sellers were getting squeezed. And I attempted the breakout here one too many times and basically got cooked in this range, and then I gave back money. Gave back. Only now to see the stock be at $4.50, almost $5. Man. So for those of you who are looking to use Guardian, once you start using the platform and you call in, you'll be able to negotiate rates, right, in terms of like fees. And, you know, between Sage and Guardian, you can get some pretty low fees, right? 0.005, you know, 0.006. Sometimes, I mean, it depends, right? It can vary, but, you know, the fees for me are not too bad, right? They're not too bad. So it's just a matter of working the range properly, man. Like, who cares about fees if you can freaking work the range? Freaking hell, man. I'm ready to like just take a baseball bat and break this screen or something. Cannot let the intrusive thoughts win here. Tomorrow I must trade the range with more sense, with more focus, with more purpose. How hard is it to buy low, sell high? Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. And if it's a stock that's worth scalping, we scalp it. Simple and easy. 1, 2, 3. We do not need to make it complicated. It's like sometimes they say the saying is the dumber you are when you're trading. Not in like a bad way per se, like in terms of simplicity, right? Let's use the word simple. The more simple your trading is, the better. There's no need to confuse and make things complicated. I could also even use my Thinkorswim platform. So there's no excuse to not be up nicely here. I think for all of us here in the community, in the chat room, you know, especially if you're still also watching later in the day, there's still more opportunities. But even just this right here, for myself and everyone in the chat room, there's no excuse here for 2 days in a row for us not to capture something. Shout out to all the traders in the chat who are green today. But for those of us who are not hitting the marks, even if you're green, but you know, not where you want to be, or if you're red, we got to do better. It's no excuse. There's no hiding. There's no running. There's no anything other than us trading better. It's as simple as that. There's no secret formula. There's no secret nothing. The people in the chat room who you see are doing well. They're watching their levels, and they're being disciplined with the levels. They're taking the trades confidently, having their stops in place. There's no need to have fear if we can have a stop in place. Just take the freaking trade and give it a chance. Right? As I'm ranting here towards the end. But yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Tomorrow again. Tomorrow again. We got this. We will prevail. And don't let them give us any good momentum because I'm ready, bro. The day I dare them to give us good. I dared market to give us good momentum. I will be flying high. I will be flying where no man has flown before. Hit the thumbs up. As you can see, I'm relentless and I'm doing it live, not shying away from the challenge, not running, not hiding, not putting my tail between my legs. But in fact, I'm showing up every day, back with recaps every day. I don't care if I'm red every day for 10,000 years. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and Pastor will be back in full form and full-fledged, one day at a time, all things in succession. If I can see it in my mind, I can hold it in my hands. And so all I have to do is keep chasing my greatness and get better. Time for the notebook. We got to write down what we need to improve on for tomorrow to have a better day yet again. So let me pause the video here. I'll be back. Bro, mark my words. I'm going to mark my words, man. Woo! I'm ready for tomorrow. Bring it on. Woo-hoo! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Pastor feeling good, feeling mighty, and ready to dial in, ready to lock in for tomorrow's trading. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Relentless Trader will be here always, looking to improve, looking to be better. And just like therapy, after a review session, we feel great. Let's do what needs to be done to ensure success. Catch you guys tomorrow morning.